Okay, chuk, 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 chuk. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. We're live on YouTube and we're live on X. What settings? Public. Everyone on settings. Oh, shit. X, X, X. You are always funny, X. Okay, that's the broadcast name. HOP, good. Okay, there's our source. Everyone on. Right. Okay, create broadcast. Good. Okay, there's our source. Okay, we're live on X. Let's get started.
Time alone when I am perfectly willing to give her everything she needs. I don't care about her past. I don't care what she's been through. I just wanna feel one night with good love, baby. That's all I wanna do. So baby, if you got that feeling, well, I wanna give you that midnight healing. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. Just turn the lights down low. Come right on over here to me. I know you don't want no commitments, baby. I just wanna set your body free. And I don't care what's going on in the night outside my door. I just wanna get your head right, baby. Give you all the love I got for sure. So baby, if you've got that feeling, you know I wanna give you that midnight healing. Oh, I just wanna make love to you all night long. Midnight healing, baby. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
So,
Okay. Give me 1 second just to check everything. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Just, give me 1 second just to check everything. I cannot call it with this voice thing. One day it works great. Next show it sounds a little tingy. I don't get this thing at all. All right, what's up, y'all? Good morning. Happy Friday. Friday morning. Welcome to the Hour of Power. I'm not going to say it's the Hour of Power East, but somewhat it is. But our guest today is not from the East. He's from the West. A lot of times, let me take my glasses off and settle in here. A lot of times, you never know what type of artist or guest we're ever going to have on the show. Today's guest is an artist. It's always nice when there's stages to an artist, right? And there's always a beginning stage. There is evolution to a middle stage where an artist really starts to find his brand and work into it and then grow that brand. And then I always feel like there is this explosion stage after that brand kind of settles in. Today, our guest, YuZapata, he is joining us. I don't want to talk too much, right? I don't want to do, I never want to do a big intro. I always want to bring our guest on as fast as possible. But it's nice when you see an artist stepping into their personality, so to speak, or their brand. And so this gentleman is doing that very nicely and has been doing it for a few years now. Probably a lot more than a few years. He's probably been working on his brand his entire life in his mind. But sometimes things don't evolve right away. You know, they take a little time and then things start to come to the surface. And then that's when you start to see the success come. So I happen to be, well, you guys know that I'm an airbrush artist. I always favor and love spray paint artists. I don't know. There's just something about the art. You guys know about my Spray the World collection and my little project. So, I'm excited to bring this guy on. So without further ado, hang on. Let me make sure everything's working here. Okay, YuZapata, say hello to everybody. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Mark. Hey, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. Good morning from Bogota. Thanks for the brief introduction. I haven't thought of that, but it's an amazing thing to see that everything that I have been working on is reflecting on the people that I know. How you doing, bud?
I'm good, man. Good morning to you. I appreciate you coming on an early show. Usually we do Monday nights with everybody, but this seemed to be a better working show for you. So I appreciate you jumping on the show and being a part of the Hour of Power. We had a conversation yesterday, and I felt like, that was an hour of power just between us, but we got to know each other and then also had a chance to meet each other in spaces. I'm just going to ask you the most generic question right now to kick this whole thing off, right? It's my most generic question of the show before I start to dig away. And so why don't you just maybe break down a little bit about who you are to everyone, right? Introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your journey through the art world. And just, maybe let everybody in on a little bit about who you are the way you did for me yesterday, man. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, man. With with great pleasure, I want to introduce myself. I am Joseph Zapata. I'm a graphic designer and artist from Cartagena, Colombia. Cartagena is a beautiful city in the coast, so I think that I have inherited all this happiness and all these colors from being born and raised in Cartagena. Well, I've been an artist since I could hold a pencil, and that led me to study graphic design. I feel like art has been around me all my life because my mom is a self-taught artist that has been painting everything around in my house. Like all the decoration in my house was made by my mom. So I felt like I've been surrounded by art So, and then I wanted to do something with that. So I went to graphic design. I studied graphic design, and I founded my own creativity company 18 years ago. And after that, I quitted a little bit of the art part for a while, focusing on my company and brands, you know. And then I finally, around 5 or 6 years ago, I came by a new notebook, and I started drawing again, and I started feeling like everything flowing around me, like all my ideas were a little bit more, um, I don't know, like from the heart. Normally, when I design for my company, I have to design for a brand or a specific target. But with this like free state of mind, I could paint whatever I want. So I started painting again, and yeah, my art career, maybe I could say that started in that moment, like the professional art career.
Okay. So question, right? It's interesting talking to you and then knowing your story and then listening to you describe your story, because I feel like a lot of times in life, especially it seems like in our generation or in this generation before the internet hit, right? So it's safe to say that you didn't grow up with a smartphone or the internet, right? That kind of introduced itself in the process of you living, the way it did for me, correct?
Yeah, yeah. When I grew up, we didn't have internet, we didn't have a smartphone. I am 41 years old. I don't look 41. That's what people say. But yeah, I kind of all my life I've been behaving kind of different from like the normal people. You know, artists are kind of kids who never grow up. I have a friend who called me Peter Pan, this eternal kid. So yeah, I grew up without internet, so everything has to be analog. Like if you wanted to paint something, you have to start with your pen. You didn't have any references. My references were comic books. I wanted to be a comic book artist all my life. And I even sent one of my comics to Marvel Comics when I was 11 years old, and they replied back like not in an email, in a regular mail, like a letter. So it was kind of an amazing moment for me as a child. And yeah, everything has to do like everything took longer, I feel.
So interesting. I'm 49. A couple things, right? You look great for your age. That has to be.
Thanks.
You definitely have to be drinking water a lot and hitting the gym. You could tell people who take care of themselves. But aside from all that, because that's a different type of podcast. Right. So we had this. As we grew up, right, we didn't have technology available to us. So I think a lot of times there was an older mindset that was set, right? You got to get a stable job. You have to find a way to make money, take care of your family, make sure that you can pay your bills, put food on your table, right? And so immediately, this artist in us starts to try to translate into the real world, right? So you have an interesting story that I resonate with, because I was a graphic designer. I was a commercial and professional photographer. Worked with a lot of different magazines, a lot of different companies. Also did a lot of different graphics, promotional graphics, and branded a lot of people. So it's interesting because I was a spray paint and spray artist from early age, but then I started transitioning into a more professional setting, and ended up doing professional training tutorials, right? And so, and then after all of that, now kind of coming back to like my art roots, going through all these phases of different jobs, trying to find a perfect place for me, but then and developing my brand in the meantime, but then coming into sort of this art world, right, where the fine art. Now I'm gonna ask you a question. It seems like you're making a really big run for the fine art world, and it's clear that you are. You could see the direction that you're going. especially with your brand and the way everything is happening. Was it always an intention to be an artist or a professional artist, or did that not evolve right away? Like, how did that happen? Like, at what point did you say, you know what, I'm going to focus on this art stuff? I don't think it was the NFT scene that created that. I think it was the NFT scene that might have pumped you full of steroids, where you said, you know what, I fit in here. This is where I think I'm going to take my run and make my crack at it. Which I get, because I saw the same thing as you, but you were really in place a lot sooner than I was. So I was just curious, did you throughout your life say, I'm going to be an artist in the end of it? Or did that kind of like, how did that evolve in your head?
Yeah, like this wasn't planned, not at all. I felt like this was a big change in my life. So I can begin like, well, when I was working on my company, I am still working on my company. I really enjoyed communicating through graphics. I feel that was kind of my language, but I didn't know these graphics will become art because I was designing for somebody else. I did major brands here in Colombia, in Cartagena. I worked for international brands. Everything about creativity just attracts my mind. I just try to make everything more creative, everything different. Right now, my company is focused on sustainability projects. So right now, I feel my creativity is helping people. So it's kind of a great goal for me in this moment. So when I started drawing again, I just wanted to express something that I had. Like I had like inner jokes with my friends. I had crazy ideas in my head. Like one of the smallest ideas is when you like step on a. I started drawing comics, like comics about my life, and one of them was like when you are walking and you see a bunch of pigeons, and I really get scared when they flew like at your face. Like I had like a joke about this. Like imagine if you lose an eye to one flock of pigeons flying through to your face. Like how are you gonna tell that story? You have to say like you were fencing or you were fighting with a sword, something that is gonna sound interesting, not just that like a bunch of pigeons started flying at your face. So I drew like four or five tribe comics, and that was like a little bit like a base ground for me, where I say like, hey, this could be fun. This might work, but at the moment, I just wanted to express something with graphics, like something that I had inside of me. But in the lockdown, was following these guys who have they're from New York. They have a website called They Draw and Travel, and they had this special edition they wanted to make for the lockdown people, where you were going to showcase a map of the place you used to walk. So it's called Where We Walk, the place that you miss to be walking around because we're in lockdown. We didn't know what was going to happen in the future, and I decided to make a doodle-ish style comic illustration of my city. It's behind me. I can show it like a little bit in there. I don't know if it looks, it shows, yeah. And this illustration has a lot of meaning for me because I was missing my hometown. I live in Bogota. So this is about Cartagena. And they choose it, they print it in their book. And I felt at that moment, I had this click in my mind that I say, hey, this thing that I'm making is art. If this is coming from my heart and people are appreciating it, people want to buy it, people print it in a book, this is art. And this has no commercial use for me. It's just expressing myself, and somebody wants to collect it because they felt connected with the idea or with the city, or they were from Cartagena and they were missing the city. And after that, I started going to galleries. Started like moving around the art media. And in one gallery, some guy told me like, "Hey, I know you. I know your brother. I know you are a graphic designer, and I know you make some illustrations. Do you want to participate in an exhibition? We're having an open call for a Mickey Mouse based exhibition." I was like, well, I'm not a big fan of Mickey. I'm more into Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. But let's go, let's do it. Mickey Mouse is an icon. And I did a doodle style illustration for that exhibition on digital. I only work on digital at the moment, and they selected. Like I was chosen to be part of the exhibition. That was really amazing for me. But I wanted to go an extra mile. So I told the owner of the gallery, man, I know you selected my digital. You want to print it over canvas, but I know I can draw it like hand drawn because I have an art background from my mom teaching me all these techniques. So I think I can do it. So I went fully in for this open call. I did it by hand. And normally, when I am excited about this, about one thing, I don't do only one thing. So I did three paintings, one Mickey, one Minnie, and one Donald Duck, and they were showcased at the exhibition. And the exhibition people still didn't could tell the difference between digital or graphics or handmade. Sorry, they were like, oh, "Hey, are these digital?" I'm like, "No, no, no, I did it by hand." Man, it's really accurate. It's like, I think that's my graphic design part that I want to make it look really similar to the digital. And after that, I started like, okay, I like this scenario, like where my art is being, well, my art, no, my ideas are being taken as art. So I went to a street artist. I didn't know how to use a spray can yet, and I went to a street artist for him to teach me how to use the cans, how to paint with spray paint. This guy gave me like 3 days and 3 sessions. I don't know, like an intro for graffiti, and we end up in an exhibition by Pes Barcelona. He's kind of a big time graffiti artist in around the world, and he saw my illustrations. I showed him in my cell phone. I collected one of his pieces, and he told me like, "Hey, you could do this on spray. This technique, you could use this. You could use different ways." And there is where I started thinking about a character, and I think, well, that's kind of the origin of me thinking to become an artist. I wanted to choose a character that was Palometa the pigeon, like came to be Palometa the pigeon, and I wanted to be my identity in the art world.
So, let me ask you something. You mentioned, I don't want to talk about it yet. Hang on. I got more questions. If we start talking about it now, yeah, we got to wait a little. I got everything kind of lined up in my head. So you're kind of interesting, right? Because your company. Maybe before I say this, right? Maybe I can, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about your company and what you do, the services you provide, and your experience within that company and how that's helped you develop yourself in the art world. I'd like to touch on that. I think that's a really good thing for people to hear because I'm not going to talk about it yet. Give me 10 more minutes before I start bringing all of this together. But I just want to poke around there. What inspired you to create a company and bring your art to others and help assist them with their dreams and their ideas, and you using your resources and your abilities to help give, branding, right? That's where I want to put a lot of emphasis on is branding, because you're very good at branding. You're up there in the top tier, because I don't want to say too much. I want that to come out in another 10, 15 minutes. So yeah, before it's very easy for me to rush these questions because there's a chunk of questions that I can't wait to get to. So I got to control myself over here. But why don't we focus on the company, the inspiration for the company, and the experience that the company brought you, and the branding. Where did you learn your branding from?
All right. So, well, when I finished my university, I started like working in a small company, but I didn't enjoy like any of that. Like it was kind of those jobs that you have to be like 8 hours there and stuff, you know. So one of my friends, who is an architect, he wanted to make an architectural studio, like architectural studio. Yeah, I think that's the name.
You
And
got it. You
he
got it.
was yeah, he was looking for a partner because at first he wanted to create his brand for his studio. He was going to become an entrepreneur too. He was working for another guy and he wasn't enjoying that. And he partnered up with another architect, and they say like, okay, now we need somebody who can make the communication for our brand. So they asked me for their logo. I was like, okay, I can do it as freelance. But then they say like, hey, why don't we join? Like we have projects where you can work on, like they were designing bars and restaurants where we can provide like a full service where you can make the brand, you can make the architectural part of the bar or the restaurant, and also you can make the construction, and everything is gonna be like in one same concept. So we decided to create Active Studio. That's 18 years ago, and since then, like I feel like I have my own time. I can choose my clients. I can work for companies that I love, or companies that I don't want to work. I just say like, no, I'm not working for you because I am an entrepreneur. I have my morals and stuff. And we started working with different companies, like international companies, providing graphic design and architectural services. And in that road, I started to figure out that my thing were brands, designing brands. Like you get all these concepts just meeting with the client, what he wants to talk about, what he wants his brand to look like, and then you translate everything into graphics. So you take like all these vague, no, like ethereal concepts, and you put them into something solid, like a graphic, like a logo that is going to express those ethereal concepts. So I started working really hard on brands, small brands, and like one of the biggest one was the convention center of Cartagena. They approached to us. We have like a really cool approach into brands, not just like here's your logo, this is what you need to show, like something like automatized. Like no, we always make it like a therapy session. We started talking with the client, with the owner of the company. What do you want to achieve with your brand? What are you looking for? How do you want people to look at you? Like it's like a 3 session process, and after that we start designing. Like we don't start anything graphic before the conceptual part. So for the convention center, they had their agency. So we told them like, I would love to work in something from Cartagena, as iconic as the convention center. So let's do this. I'm gonna make you like these sessions, and if after those sessions I show you a proposal and you like it, you're gonna hire us. If you don't like it, you just keep working with your agency. You already have your designers, so keep going. They choose us over their own agency, and thank God, like we started working in different brands. We also won some advertising contest for brands, and it's really cool because you get to know a lot of people who are also entrepreneurs like you and want to show something to the world, and you have the tools to help them with that. And on that road, we started finding out that our creativity could help people, could help the planet. We started making like end of the year campaigns. The first one was for adoption of dogs, like people who wanted to adopt a dog, but they don't know how, or they didn't know like everything that brings to have a dog. Like they adopted like a toy. So we made like a parallel campaign with that, and was really good. And after that, we decided like, no man, everything we work on, whenever we help people with our creativity, we work really good. We enjoy working. We also win prizes in the industry. So we decided to make this turn. Like it's been like 8 years since we decided to become a creativity agency focused on sustainability projects.
So the reason that I bring all of this up, right, is because you have, um, what's the best way to say it, right? When you look at a artist's overall history, right, and so you could get a really good feeling of your history, like you said yesterday, looking over the timeline of Instagram, right? And an artist generally starts off all over the place. Not really, he sees something that he likes, maybe does it very well, then he starts to, focus on that. And then maybe that might fizzle out or wear off, or, maybe it's not their style, or it might not be speaking to them or resonating with them. So they start to, maybe look around, maybe search around on the internet. Now you're starting to get ideas. Now, stories are happening. You're writing in your notebook, just to, to get the feel of the art back, right? And so maybe, you're doing all these professional jobs and these art jobs that are demanding your art and your skills for other people, but not satisfying that artist inside, where the notebook comes out, or maybe the spray can comes out, or, you start doing something for yourself, something that you want to do, something that you like, right? Now, from that, you see this art start to develop, and this art comes out of nowhere. Now, the one thing that artists don't, I've always said this with a signature on a piece of art, right? When you sign a piece of art, that's like your name, your signature, your brand. And then that brand kind of turns into a logo. And then that logo starts to represent who that artist is. And then that becomes a very big part of their art. You can see it. Sometimes not necessarily a signature or a character or a logo, or sometimes it's just a style, right? There was a very big artist back in the 80s who used to do these breakdancing figures all over the place. And like, he was known for doing these huge murals, these huge walls. There was always one on the FDR Drive when you drive down to New York. Now, New York, Bronx is a haven for some of the best graffiti artwork, spray paint. Brooklyn, Newark, right, is a great place. There's a lot of different little outlets where there's great, great art, great, great artists. A lot of times artists are recognized through their style, right? A lot of times you'll hear people say, I know that artist, I know his style, right? Now, not only do you have a style, but you have created a brand around you as far as an artist, which is sometimes not a lot of artists get to. I feel like they're kind of like fish out of, like when you decide you're going to be an artist, or you are an artist, a lot of times you see something, let me try that, let me try this, let me play around with this, let me mess around with these pens and pencils, let me try this brush, let me try this. But you're trying to find your personality, right? And you have essentially found your personality in not only spray cans, but in this little character that you have created and branded yourself with, which has now become sort of like the mascot of your artwork. So regardless of where you go, what you do, what you create, there's always seems to be this little mascot following you around. It's a little cartoon character. Now, you mentioned very briefly about Donald Duck. You were more that style. Donald Duck, more Looney Tunes, right? And so I don't know if you happen to catch the name of the show, but it came. I always have difficulty naming the show. Last minute, it came to me. I said, this would be a good name for Goodfeathers, right? I don't know if you ever came across Animaniacs, which was a cartoon that took place
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you know the Goodfeathers, then you know the.
I know them. I know them.
Okay, okay. So it seemed appropriate to name the show this, and so I think this is really probably the most beneficial thing that you can bring to all other artists. But you have branded yourself as an artist, right? People don't even have to know you, and they're like they might not know your name, they might have never met you before, they might have never seen your art before, but there's a good chance they might say, hey, that's the guy with the pigeons, right? I know, oh, that's the pigeon guy, right? And so I want you to talk specifically about that and how that evolved. And even though you did touch on it and start talking about it, was that always the plan when it came to your art? Like, how did you pull that all together? Because as an artist, I'm question mark, right? So I've associated myself with the question mark. So if you see my logo, you know my style, you know my logo, you know who's behind it. And then I look at you and I'm like, look at this. This is interesting. Same thing, right? Not a question mark, but a little graffitied pigeon that you have, branded yourself with, that now has become a whole entire art movement. So yeah, I'm trying. That's kind of, and from an advertising perspective, then that's what advertising, that's what graphic design firm, that's what you've been being called in to help people with, give them an identity. And here it is, you found your identity. And so when an artist finds his or hers identity, right? To me, that's like, holy shit, this artist is on their,
Yeah.
right? They're on their way. Like, I'm so happy when someone finds their identity, because I think for an artist, their identity is one of the hardest things to figure out. You're all over the place, but I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to let you pick it up from here. But that's kind of what I've been trying to build to, because a lot of times you don't see, oh, I do music. Oh, I do graphic design. Oh, I spray. I do this. I do that. But you've really focused in on this little. You've pulled it all together nicely. So like when I say I love an artist who has their shit together, you even got me beat, because you got this whole thing nice, packaged, looking. It looks beautiful. Just as you scroll through it, you could see that you have your. So I want you to talk. Not a little. I want you to talk a lot about that, because I think that's a lot you have to offer for all artists. I think there's an incredible lesson to be learned here, and so I want to really put focus on that during our conversation, because this is a big part of you, and it's a big part of your art. So I'm going to back off, and I'm going to let you take it from here.
Oh man, thanks. Like it's really clear. Like you hit the nail with all your explanation, because I feel like my background as a graphic designer, as an entrepreneur, has helped me to be more focused on my craft. I decided that I wanted to be an artist, but I didn't want to use brushes. I wanted to use markers and spray paint. So I went for classes. I went to building myself into what I wanted to be. What I wanted to look like too. I like, congratulations, like your sweater is like, your hoodie is amazing, and I wanted to have something like that. I was like, hey, I like his hoodie, but I can't do my own hoodies with my own art, with my own colors, with whatever I like. And I wasn't looking for people who like it too. I just wanted to look like I wanted to look, to do things from myself and for myself. So I think that background was really important in my life, and also the moment when I decided to become an artist. I feel that if I was younger, I could have been making a lot of mistakes that I made a lot of mistakes in my way here. Of course, in the Web3 space, you make a lot of mistakes because you don't know the technology, you get scammed, or you make some like dumb collections that don't have anything to do with this or what you want to do. But I came like really focused on what I wanted to bring to the table. So there is kind of the moment when Palometa showed up to me. I had some comics where that comic that I told you about, the pigeon poking your eye, the pigeons were looking really funny, and I enjoyed drawing it. But that was one comic I just posted, and that's it. But after the meeting with PES Barcelona, I started thinking, okay, now I need to like make a character for my street art if I want to become like a street art, or maybe if I want to have like an identity. I don't want to the identity to be like my signature, because I didn't have like an artist signature at the
Right,
moment.
right, right.
So
You,
I was like, well, what's gonna be my identity? Who's gonna talk for me in this art world? So I was sitting here in this same living room, and I was like thinking of ideas. I already know what I wanted to do. I wanted to put a lot of graffiti tags inside of my character or around my character, but I because I didn't have the skills yet to make like a really well defined character with my sprays. So I was thinking of tags, colors, but where I'm gonna put them, who's gonna communicate all these colors and all these graffiti tags and good vibes that I wanted to express. And I looked at my painting, and in that painting you have two weird looking pigeons, like funny looking pigeons, that I was like, I started to look at them, and I was like, man, they are looking back at me. They are from the street. They have amazing like cultural definitions. Like the dove is kind of a sign, a symbol of peace, a symbol of hope. Like there were really positive things about an animal that in the street you don't see it as that positive thing. You see it as a street like a rat with wings. So I started like digging into that idea of the rat with wings who came from the street, but in the cultural and graphic design world is known for peace, for hope, for a lot of beautiful things. And I say like, hey, this is what I want to bring. I want to bring street art that is from the street, and I want to bring it into the place that nobody expecting to be, the fine art galleries. I want to have street art known as fine art. I want it to be showcased next to amazing fine art pieces, and I want to be dressed like this, exhibiting my art next to like all these snobbish people from art galleries. But I want to be different, to stand there and to show and to be this pigeon that comes into the place that you don't want, and to try to kick him out, and he's coming back in. So they are relentless. They are kind of they were the dogs were like kind of the small dogs of long time ago, like in Renaissance, I think. They used to have dogs, and they doves or pigeons, and they make different breeds from them. That's why they are so beautiful pigeons, and they are street pigeons. So I started to learn a lot of that, and I had like my head full, and I couldn't design anything that day. So I went to sleep, and when I was sleeping, I normally have these kind of dreams where like all the ideas come together. So in that dream, my ideas were like, okay, so I take all the street art and I put it inside of the belly of the pigeon. The pigeon is gonna remain, the head is gonna remain blue. I don't know why I painted blue. Like really, I still haven't seen a pigeon with a blue head. So I was like, okay. When I woke up, I took a notebook, I make a sketch, and I say like, this is what I want to paint. Now I'm gonna get like what is gonna have this pigeon inside. What's gonna be the subject? And the subject that I find more appealing to this idea that I have of the moments of joy of everyday life, like those moments when somebody sends you a meme and you are kind of angry, or you are maybe stressing your work, but you receive that meme and you're kind of, okay, this is funny. You're not like cracking out and like rolling in the floor laughing, but more like, okay, this is funny. These people cares about me and send me a meme to release a little bit of my stress. So those small moments of joy of everyday life, that is kind of my idea, and memes bring that into the scene. So I went and searched for funny pigeons, mean pigeons, and I find these pigeons looking like gangsters. Somebody took a picture of like in the floor, and the pigeons were coming at the camera, kind of in a gangster style. It looked like a rap record. something like that, like a rap cover. And I decided, hey, these are my guys. These are pigeons. These are from the street. They look really like menacing, but they are sweet in the inside. Like this represents me in a lot of ways. Like I try to be kind of gangsters, but I'm not a gangster. I'm a graphic designer who sits in a desk, but wants to be in the street painting graffitis. So kind of the um, nemesis, I think, with the pigeons, and I went all in with the palometas. So I started designing, I started painting pigeons in a band, and the band is called Popcorn because in Spanish, popcorn is translated to palomitas de maíz. So palomita is like small pigeon. So everything has kind of a relationship with the name and the with the animal, and they didn't have a name because I didn't want it to be female or male. I wanted to be like open for everyone, so I didn't have a name for that. Almost like 6 months without a name. But when I went to Miami for my first international exhibition, I already had my pigeons, like my style. I had these pigeons. I was going to showcase this piece, well, this piece as a canvas, and I did a popsicle for a popsicle store in Wynwood. Wynwood is kind of an amazing place for street art, and they had this popsicle store where they give to the artist wooden popsicles where they paint on them, and they have like a gallery of popsicles. It's called Cielito, and Cielito store is from a Colombian owner. So I went there. I'm a Colombian. I want to be an artist. I came here for an exhibition. Is it cool if I draw any of your popsicles? And they were like, hey, of course, you're from Colombia. You're going to be the first Colombian artist who's going to be here. I'm like, okay, I'm not an artist yet, but let's go. And I painted this popsicle, and it was a pigeon in a popsicle. So I wanted to call it like that. So in Spanish, popsicle is pronounced paleta, and pigeon is pronounced uh, paloma. So I mixed those names, paleta and paloma, and I created the name palometa. That was the name of the piece, and everyone started calling it like that. Like I was like, went to the exhibition, and people came at me, like my friends, like, hey, I like the palometa dancer. Hey, I like the palometa DJ. Hey, I like that. Wait, why are you calling it palometa? The name, I don't have a name for that. No, man, the name sounds good. It doesn't have a gender. I'm like, man, the pigeon named him or herself. So it was really cool story about the name, and that's why I created. I have a collection of popsicles on Solana. They are all popsicles with my street art, with my pigeon, and it's called Palometa Collection, and it's kind of a homage to that origin of the name. So that became kind of my brand. So I just want to be painting pigeons. When somebody contacts me like, hey, I want you to paint something for my bar, or I like one of your paintings, but I don't want it to be a pigeon. I want it to be a fox. I'm like, man, so you don't like my art. If you don't like Palometa, what are you requesting here? It's like going to, I don't know, to Kid Haring and telling him, hey, could you please paint me like a Renaissance portrait or something like that? So it's kind of wasting your time here. So I decided to go full with Palometa. I even, like you were saying, like it's my brand and it branded me. So check this out.
Yeah.
I already have my Palometa tattoo.
On
I
your
have my Palometa
wait.
gear.
So that again. I missed it. I missed it. So.
Let me,
Oh wow. Oh, you went all in.
yeah, this is the commitment to Palometa, I think. And it's this one is the OG, the original Palometa. And after that, the Palometa has been, as you can see, like in the collections, the NFT collections have helped me evolving the character a lot. Like normally it was going to be the character in situations with spray paint behind it, but like it started evolving, like taking more personality. Now I know Palometa always is kind of a silly gangster. You know, he wants to be bad, but he kind of end up being a little bit silly. He's a little like close to the good feather cartoons, and the cartoons that we used to watch, like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, were always like clumsy, but they end up being nice. I feel like that's kind of the essence of Palometa, and I made it my brand. And after like I decided that I wanted to have Palometa as my brand, and then I get like another signature. My signature is you, written like in one line, and it doesn't it looks like a little bit like a detail of the feathers of Palometa. It's kind of blended inside the Palometa. So Palometa became the brand, as people told you, like, oh yeah, the guy from the pigeons. Yeah, that's who I want to be. Like now the next level is to people to start calling it Palometa. Like, oh, that's the guy from the Palometas. That would be like a really big goal, but I'm working on it. I'm working like in small steps, but really firm steps to establish a brand of art. That's kind of a way that I want to call it.
So you don't realize how maybe you do, but I'll tell you anyway. So you've gotten to a point where I think, let's say if there was 100% of artists, I think, oh man, I would say maybe, I think this is too generous. I don't think 70 to 80% of artists reach this point. I think they lose themselves trying to get to this point. Not because they want to, just because life steps in. And it's difficult to manage life and art, and just things become, you have to have a very organized mind and a very clear vision. And when you see something, you have to have a lot of confidence in it. I've often said that you'll know when I'm 100% committed to question mark, because there'll be the question mark tattoo on me. You are one ahead of me, and 9 years younger, but you have fully committed to Palometa, right? And it's on your arm to prove it. So it's like blood in, blood out right now. This is this is more than this is not only a brand that you're gonna live and die for. I mean, this is a way of life for you now. And so I've never believed that things happen by fluke. I believe that we all have something inside of us that tells us, like a roadmap, signs. You get these signs throughout life. Some people, they don't pay attention to the signs, or they don't have confidence in the signs. Some people call them, oh, that's a coincidence. Oh, it's meant to be. That was lucky. Coincidence. I don't believe in any of that shit. I believe in manifestation. You attract what you think. If you think, the way you think and how you think is who you become. So here, there's a whole lot going on in your mind. And then on top of that, I feel like these signs that were given to you. And yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is right. But you were recognizing these street signs of life to the point where you became so confident in them that it was like, my success is here. Not necessarily in a pigeon or a palmetto, but my success is in art, right? Because I'm seeing all of these things link up and connect. And now, coming into the future, the success in NFTs, your move to ordinals, the fact that you have these collections, and not only that, but you have this traditional background working in your fit. You have this company where you're, I mean, if your brand isn't the sign of all successive brands, it's clear that any brand you place on anyone is going to be a success, because a successive self-brand is one of the hardest. It's easy to look at someone else's company and be like, this will work for you. This is what I think. I listened to everything that you said. And, boom, here, this is what we produced. Most people don't have that art. Yeah, all right, I like it. I like, maybe tweak it a little here, tweak it a little there. And then you as an artist bring their idea to life. When it comes to yourself, right? When it comes to doing yourself, that's when I find like things get a little crazier, because as an artist, that's when the insecurities kick in. You're not 100% sure. Maybe I don't know. I should use this. I'm thinking, oh, maybe not a bird, maybe a dog, maybe a cat. Oh, people love cat, right? You get all of these indecisiveness, but not you. You have this thing zeroed in perfectly to where it represents you. It represents you as an artist. It's your brand. It's even brought you to a signature. And so I feel like when you're on the right track in life, all of the answers start to become, they're given to you by the universe, right? It's energy. You know, they're all the answers. A lot of times when I'm stuck, I start to clean. And when I clean, I tend to find that I find the answers in cleaning. I start to have visions. I start to see things. I feel like you're getting rid of the clutter. You're getting rid of the distractions. And when you're doing that, you're finding your path, meditation. A lot of people speak about meditation. You meditate in the morning, very quiet, keep your mind closed, see your future, visualize what you want. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
what I have
go ahead.
near indecision, maybe what I have like near that is maybe anxiety. Normally, I have to like calm myself down, and this is kind of an advice that I give to a lot of people that I know. Like stop for a minute, check out, like look around you, what you have at this moment. Like if you don't see anything, breathe. You're healthy. You're alive. You have a roof on your over your head. You have like to be grateful for the things you have. But normally, when I get anxious, uh, I tend to try to get more things and more things. Like I got this, but I still haven't got this other thing that I want. So I have to like stop myself. I think that's a little bit of
Right, right.
my mindset. Like to, hey, okay, let's stop here. Check out what you got, what you have accomplished in this little time. Because for an artist, 5 years, or well, I could say like around like 4 years is not like a big time of experience.
No.
But I have a background of 18 years with a company. I have a background of art in my house, like traditional art. So yeah, you have to like stop. That's why when I paint, normally I paint two canvases at the same time, because I don't want to wait for the paint to dry, to keep going on the canvas. So I use two canvases. I start painting the same painting in both canvases, and I think that's kind of two ways. Like it goes two ways. It goes in a way that I release a little bit of my anxiety, and if I am waiting for this to dry, I am creating in this second one. But at the same time, it's kind of a way to not close my art for only one people. Like to have two canvases with the same design is like, oh, but I like this one, but it's already sold. No, I have a second one that I can sell you. It's gonna be number two, but it's the same design. It was painted the same day, with the same technique, with the same intention. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of my take on on anxiety here.
It's so interesting, right? Because you know who Jeff Koons is, correct?
Yep.
The right. So anybody ever sees a chrome, right? Everybody ever sees a chrome balloon animal. And you're in the art world, yeah, and you're familiar with artists, you know who created that, right? So I think that like one of the biggest difficulties where artists give up or, to just start to get discouraged is the fact that you have to make your way into the art industry. And that usually takes some sort of branding, establishing yourself, people seeing your style everywhere, and then saying, wait a second, I know this artist. I know this artist. I know this artist. Brand familiarity. They say a lot of times when it comes to commercials and Super Bowls, you see something, it takes you 5 or 6 times to see it. It never happens the first or second time. You see it once, twice, it catches your attention. Third or fourth time starts to look familiar. Fifth or sixth time, who is this person? Who is this art? What is going on here? I need to see it a little bit more. What's this product? I want to buy it now. So it takes some brand recognition. Now, when artists are constantly creating different pieces, each piece has to be a stellar piece. You'll see a lot of artists have a lot of different inspirations, motivations in different areas of creating art. However, what a lot of artists don't remember is that they need this signature. They need something that's going to go out into all the industry and bring back everyone right to their door. My friend, I feel like you have been creating Palometa since the day you were born. It just didn't come to life until later in life, right? Okay, where do I want to go from here? Let me check the time here. 10 o'clock. That's an hour already. Let's go a little longer before we start introducing everybody to your art. Okay, let's spend the next 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes talking about introducing yourself into the art world, right? You are doing the physical stuff. You're in Miami. The popsicle you created, which I saw on your Instagram, I was curious. Like, that's something I did want to show. And now you're starting to see this character develop. The tat comes to life. Everything seems to click. You're saying, hey, this is working right now. I like this. I'm moving forward on it. I got my character. And now you're starting to see all the pieces in place. Let me push this as far as I can. Was that before or after? Because obviously you started to work your way physically into galleries. Was that before or after? How did the timeline go with digital art, NFT art, the transition between traditional to digital, right? You did say that you mostly drawing digital, but a lot of canvas work, a lot of painting, spray paint, a lot of street art now. So you learn the spray can. So you have that traditional, but now you go wandering. You come across this NFT art scene where all of these amazing artists are hanging out, beginners, medium, professional, everybody's in here. How did that all happen, right? How did that transition happen? And how did you end up here in Spaces, right? I guess I'm bringing it a little to the future before we start showing everybody all the collections, all the art, all the street art, the Palometa collection. Before we introduce them to all of that and everything that we've been talking about, how did the whole, you know what I'm asking?
Yeah,
Right,
sure.
Go ahead.
No, I know where you're going. You're going to a great place here. Well, this, as you were saying about designs, this first exhibition in Miami, like, make me knew a lot of great people. One of those great people was is Hudasaka, who is the guy who paints with me here. We create a lot of things here in Colombia, art exhibitions. He's one of the members of the crew we like to call the Art Cartel. And there also we were together in the same exhibition. We were kind of feeling different because the art scene is kind of full of drama, full of envy. A lot of people, like, you have to like people so they can exhibit you in the gallery. They are not like looking for artists. They are looking for people who kiss their boots, I think. So I wasn't getting too happy with the art scene that I was getting into. And I met this guy. We started talking. He's from the coast of Colombia too, so we get along very well. And next to us, there was a third guy that is called Fabian Buitrago. And Fabian was already into the NFT world. At that same exhibition where Palometa started calling herself or himself Palometa. And yeah, it was my first exhibition, my first international sale, and the first time I think the second time I went to Miami, and there was this guy called Fabian Buitrago, and he started talking about NFTs, and I'm like, okay, so I come from digital as a graphic designer, and I want to be recognized as an artist for my physical art. Like, digital art, at that moment, people didn't feel it as art. And I was like, no, I can't go back into digital because I am already exhibiting in physical. What are you asking me here to do? Like, it's kind of a step back. And he told me like, no, no, check out. My work is all made with acrylic paste. It has a lot of texture and it's made on canvas. I take pictures of that piece and I promote it as NFTs on Web3, and people buy it. And I was like, what? But the people are not going to buy the physical? Like, no, no. I can make editions. Like, he explained everything with like in a level of kindergarten, like NFTs for dummies. And I'm like, okay, okay, I get it, and I understand a little bit. And I decide to not do NFTs. I was like, no, no, this is not for me. I am like jumping into physical art. I don't want to step back. And one day, Hudasaka told me like, hey, guy, man, did you already made your NFT Connect collection? I'm like, no, no, I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to jump into this. I was checking out NFTs, and they have a lot of 3D art, starting like first steps of AI art. I was like, no, no, this is too technological. I want to be more analog with street art. And he told me like, man, but you already design everything on digital. My process is that I do everything on digital first because I don't want to be like trying colors in the street. You don't have the time. I don't want to be like spending my canvases like figuring out which color I like. I do everything first on Procreate or Illustrator or whatever, and then I go to digital. So you already have everything on digital. Why don't you post it over there and you sell them differently? Like you sell the canvas on a gallery and you sell the digital on NFTs. I'm like, okay, I don't have anything to lose there. I already have the work. Like all the material is in the iPad, and they are gonna be left to die over there. But I don't want to jump like that. I don't want to like take this and put it there and see if it sells, because my goal here is not to sell. My goal here is to establish a brand. So I decided that I wanted to make them animated. So I took a little longer while I making the animations because I wanted to bring something different than my physical art. I wanted to bring an extra that I can do. Since I'm a graphic designer, I know a little bit about animation. So let's do them animated. So I animated my first pieces. I post them on OpenSea, on Polygon. I remember because I didn't want it to spend like the gas fees were around $150, and I'm like, man, I still my physical pieces are still like in $200 or $100, and I can't try to. It's really difficult to sell. So well, that was kind of a misstep here. I put my collection, and after the Miami exhibition, I had an exhibition with the same people here in Bogota, and someone saw that I had NFTs. And one night he called me like, "Hey, where are you trying to go with NFTs?" I'm like, "No, well, I'm trying to bring my art into international audiences. So I feel this technology is giving me that possibility, and also the possibility to make something else of my digital art, to make them into real art, not thinking of art and digital art, but thinking everything is digital. And the blockchain is giving me this certificate of authenticity for the piece. Like a unique piece is gonna be uh, registered in the blockchain. This is gonna give them this little extra that I need for digital to become art plain, and also like the things that I can do with digital animations. I can do music. I can put a lot of things inside of one piece. And he was like, all right, I like your explanation. I like where you're going. So I'm gonna buy everything you have right now. I have like two pieces and they were sold out that night. And I'm like, man, this is really cool. Like somebody believes in what I am trying to accomplish here. And well, that was in November 2021. And since that day, I just been growing inside the NFT community. I belong to the One Love community. That's one of the biggest goals that I feel that I have accomplished, to have like a family here in the space. I have been showcasing NFT NYC twice. This year I was showcased in Times Square. That was kind of a dream in the physical art world to accomplish everything that I have accomplished thanks to the Web3 community wouldn't be like impossible. Like it has to be like many years. So people were like, normally when you arrive to a gallery, they're like, okay, well, where have you been exhibited? Or how many years have you been painting? Like a lot of questions that you are like, man, if I am an like a beginner artist, I'm not gonna have all that experience that you require. But here in the NFT world, like everything has been working as fast as as technology. So yeah, I feel like this is kind of where I have been uh, positioning myself and positioning my brand in the Web3, and this has brought back the attention into my digital art. That's why I always link digital with physicals, physical with digitals. Even the hoodies, I have a QR code here in the. I don't know if it shows over there. Yeah, where you have a QR that brings you to an NFT collection. So it's kind of a way to connect everything into from physicals to digital, and everything is part of your art and your identity.
So a couple things, right? And I want to start moving over to the computer. I want to scroll and start showing them. I want to open up the screen. I want them to see everything that we're talking about. But stubborn, huh? Didn't want to pay attention to the NFT calling, which makes sense because everybody was giving it so much shit. It's digital, and this is exactly how traditional artists treat NFTs when they hear it for the first time. Like I'm a physical guy. I create physicals. What I want to do, I want to deal with these. I don't understand. I'm selling JPEGs. They could just copy and paste these, right? So like, not a lot of people not artists, musicians, any type of artist, really. When you start talking to them about the NFT world, it doesn't. They don't see any.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
why?
yeah. Right.
Why? If I am doing this, I am making these textures. I am making this. I am being showcased by these galleries. These galleries hates NFTs, so I have to hate NFTs too. It's kind of a misconception of NFTs.
Right. Right.
So I feel you have to go beyond the NFTs. You have to get inside the community. You have to meet people. I feel all my growth as an artist has been thanks to the people that I've been knowing here. Like artists were making a collaboration for me was impossible. I am too like focused on what I want to accomplish with a piece, and to collaborate with somebody was for me like a no go. But yeah, I make collaborations here in the NFT world, and I feel that this has helped my character grow a lot into understanding the other person's style, maybe adapting some part of their style into my style now. I work with a fine art artist who makes abstracts, and she used palettes to make abstract with oil painting, and we collaborated together, and the collaborations are amazing. Like it's something like we work at the same time, and we have made 3 collaborations so far, and the 3 of them have sold right away. She's called Maria Paula Alzate, and she's kind of a different mind from my own, and it's really cool to connect. Like you have something that maybe enrich my style, and I have something that maybe helps your style too, or just experiment, or just to collaborate. Like this camaraderie you start creating in the Web3 world, like where you when I talk to you about my guys from the art cartel, like, hey, you should make an interview to Luco or to Hudasaka or to Jenny. Jenny referred me. Like everything is connected. Like people trying to uplift each other, and this is what I find beautiful about this space. It's super different from the traditional world where an artist come with his collectors. He shows him only his pieces, and he takes away his collectors because he says like, if they buy from him, they're not gonna have money to buy from me. So they are kind of closed into that. They're really jealous into that aspect. And here is totally different. Like everyone here is full of love and like trying to uplift each other.
So you said so. I'm gonna I'm gonna start moving over and changing the screen around while I while we get ready to show everybody what you have got going on. And but I'm gonna say this. You said a couple things, right? Interesting because of the galleries and the art and the fine art. There was a time where I was making my way into the fine art world, and you said some of the interesting things, right? You got to be part of the in crowd. You got to be part of a certain crowd. Certain things, certain maybe requests. If maybe you're not, maybe if your art is not popping as much as they like, maybe if you don't have the numbers that they're looking for, if you don't, maybe you're not well established on social media. Or maybe you just don't have that hype behind you, or maybe you don't know the right person. If you know the right person, sometimes that opens doors. Not fair to everybody, because not always the most established or best artists get the move in, where maybe some of the better artists get overlooked because they don't know the right people. Now the internet comes along, right? We X spaces, and you're one of the few people that have joined us on Our Power, who has you didn't say that anything about the Beeple event, right? I feel like the Beeple event is like the event that brought everyone into NFT art, right? Everybody was, oh my God, somebody sold a piece of art for 69 million. Right? A digital piece of art. Wait, an NFT. Wait, what's an NFT? Wait, there's artists selling, right? Like that's how so that's how it happened for me. But outside of me, when I start talking to people, a lot of people say, wait, I heard some artists sell something for 69 million. Then I ended up in spaces. I ended up on Twitter, right? It was Twitter back then. And so forth and so on. And so that's how a lot of people in the NFT, their journey begins, because they heard of this, I call it the Beeple event, right? It's like NFTs, what do they say? BC, AC, BC, right? Like I feel like NFTs.
Oh, okay.
Right.
No, the thing is that here in Colombia, you didn't get that much information about NFTs. It was kind of a topic for the first world. So we didn't. I didn't knew about the event until like 1 year into NFTs, and yeah, that kind of helped bring a lot of people into the space. If you remain here in the bear market, you are here for the right reason. But if you're here only for the money, like it's not gonna be good for you. It's gonna be a little bit frustrating. You're gonna miss a lot of opportunities. You're gonna miss a lot of people who are here that you could meet, and they could enrich your art. You also as a person. So yeah, I feel uh, different. There are different reasons to come into NFTs, but there's only one good reason to stay, and it's not the money.
I feel like if you made it through the bear, you're like a genuine artist. You know what I mean? Like you want to see your career succeed.
you're, you're a Jedi.
Yeah, seriously. I first wandered in with, I was wandering in because of different reasons, and I was on Twitter for different reasons. And then all of a sudden, this big NFT event happened. And I didn't necessarily, you know what I saw it as? I saw it as possibly maybe a different way of succeeding as an artist rather than galleries, or let me check this area out, right? And then venturing into it and seeing all the success that artists were having, it was like, this looks like a good spot. But yet now you got to learn the exchanges. You got to learn the coins, the blockchains. Where do I want to post what? Where do I want to put who, where? So I mean, it gets a little difficult, but then I think the more and more you start to soak it up, you start to find your lane, right? You start to figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. I have your Twitter open next to you along with your link tree. But you did mention that, and I think this is a good thing. I also opened up your IG next to you right now. But you did mention that IG is a good way to show them the beginning and the timeline of the progression of your art. So I'm going to, I don't know where you might want to start. I believe that, interesting enough, but the piece that you were talking about behind you is your second post on your IG, right?
Yeah.
Here I feel like here's the beginning, right? So you did mention that you did this piece that's hanging behind you, and it just so happens that this piece is the second piece that is this was your second post on your IG as it grows. Your first post was your Behance, which is interesting, right? And now I'm scrolling up and through your journey. These, the Mickey pieces, the Donald pieces, these were the three pieces that you were referring to that you created right in the beginning. Is that?
Yeah, those were kind of the first style that I experimented with was doodle style. Right now, I bring some of these doodle style inside some of my pieces because it helps me tell stories and put little details that makes people like look a little closer to the piece and find those details that are kind of funny details or maybe details of how I did the piece. So this was part of the process, and these were really difficult for me because I don't think abstract, and these were kind of a little bit of abstract, trying to have some figurative things inside of it. I don't know. And yeah, they were really cool pieces. They are at my sister's house right now, and I have the first test that I did of those pieces on canvas. That was the Mickey Mouse.
While I'm gonna start from the beginning and I'm gonna open this up and I'm gonna play. We're gonna go through it, right? I'm gonna click as you speak, but you did mention something interesting, right? And as I bring them up to speed and I start introducing them to Palo Meta, right? Am I saying it right? Palo Meta? I think I was saying it wrong in the beginning.
Yeah, no,
Yeah?
perfect.
Okay. I was saying Pamela, but Palo. I think I gotta make sure I got the
Palo
pronunciation.
and Meta, like the metaverse. Somebody told me that in a
Oh
space one day,
yeah,
like, "Hey, I love the name. It's
Palo
like
Meta. Look
a
at that
pigeon in the
in the
metaverse." I'm
metaverse.
like, "It's a really good, it's a really good observation,
Yeah.
and it works."
You know when you're on point because things like that happen that reassure you. You're like, damn, I didn't even think of that. And now look at how that worked out, right? So I must be in the right place at the right time.
Sure.
Something interesting you said, you mentioned that your NFT journey, right? Your NFT journey, you decided that physical and digital, right? And you don't hear that a lot. A lot of times you people just the digital. And you really truly you have that traditional background that you create traditional pieces. That's where you've been focusing. But you decided to then create these traditional pieces and bring them into this NFT digital world and say, hey, if you purchase one of my digital pieces, this piece comes with it. You don't see that many doing it. Maybe you want to speak a little bit about that while we just flick through some of the past here.
Yeah, sure. Those were kind of the goal with the Palometa collection. I don't know if the screen is showing. My screen in the space is black.
Your screen is black?
Yeah, I am in the space. I
Right.
am on Twitter here, and I don't know. It's full black. Maybe I'll
Nah,
update here.
we're good. We're still
Oh no,
broadcasting.
yeah, we're
Yeah,
good.
we're
Yeah,
good. We're
was
good.
my internet was kind of fooling around. Yeah, well, when I started the Palometa collection, I wanted to make like everyone was making those big collections where you had the apes with different traits and stuff. So I went for my Palometa. I were like, okay, I was like, we could do like something similar, but I don't want to make it like with the threads that you put all the threads in a program and it brings like a lot of options. I wanted to make everyone like person customized palometas. So I did the first one with animation. The animation was just the palometa breathing. I changed the backgrounds, but since I wanted to bring people into the attention into my physical art, and I want them to collect and feel they collected something physical. So all the Palometa collection pieces bring high quality print that I paid from my income, and that was kind of a way to show you that you purchase something, a piece of art that you can hang in your wall. Because a lot of people from Web2 were asking me that, like, wow, but what I'm gonna do with the NFT if I can't put it in my house? I'm like, okay, with this option, you can have a print signed by me. It's gonna be a one-on-one, and the piece is also a one-on-one, and I do every piece. I do them on Illustrator. I make the animation on Photoshop one by one. They have different animations, so I started to experiment with that. So at first I put in a little hat, then some glasses, then I decided to like go crazy and started to make a collection of palometas inspired by Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and that collection was a bomb. I showed that collection to a friend that I met on Web3 from the Pigeons of New York, Broadway Gym, and he was like blown away. He has a collection of pigeons too. I had pigeons, and we were like, "Hey man, we should go out together. We should collaborate. We should make something." And I will show it to my community. I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And he showed it to his community, the Pigeons of New York, and they flipped with the Star Wars collection. It was sold out kind of around 1 hour or 2 hours. They were all sold out, and we're asking for more. Like, hey, but you already sold the Mandalorian. Could you please make Boba Fett? I'm like, all right, yeah, but it takes some time because I need to make a different animation. I need to make everything like really custom made for that. And I created around 20 NFTs for the Star Wars series. Then I went and made one for the Lord of the Rings that I'm a big fan too. So it has been like growing. This collection has 117 pieces, I think, is kind of my biggest collection. And it's still going. So every time there's a Batman day, I want to be Batman. Every time there's a Batman day, I make a Batman palometa. I already have three Batman palometas, and I make them as giveaway for the holders. Like I want to have this collection as kind of the base of the palometa, and after that you get to see like everything related to the street art part.
So really interesting as we're going through the timeline here, and looking at everything. Something that I did want to mention to you is that you have a very good sense of marketing when it comes to. You're very good with your whips. Um, the videos where you're actually showing your art and how you're creating your art. Not only that, but now I'm noticing the is it the I'm gonna say what I think it is. Is it a stack of like what do they call them? You put your glass on them.
Oh, the coasters.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Having issues with that one. Yeah, is that a stack of coasters that? Yeah. I'm gonna go back
Yeah,
and
I
play
did
that.
those coasters with this painting
Right.
because I wanted to make it like a really uh, like merch from my art to bring merch into that. And my mom and my sister used to help me like make. I did the prints and got the supplies, and they did all the handcraft for that. they got resin. They are like really well like handmade one by one, really difficult. But yeah, those were kind of my first merch piece. I think that was kind of one of them.
So interesting, right? Because this piece that sits behind you and the piece that's on the coasters, right? And it's like the second piece, right? This is the piece you chose to sit in front of. This is the piece that looks like it started it all. And look, there they are. You
Yeah, they
know,
are the palometas.
yeah, right? And there they are starting to show up. So scrolling through the Mario, the Luigi, and then running in. I see you are good with products. That's just your sweatshirt, the coasters. Very interesting way to I like physical, right? But even more than physical, I like when an artist takes their physical and they push that physical even further, whether it's postcards or posters, or maybe just 8x10 prints, maybe not signed, but just, hey, you could pick up an 8x10 print. Um, and you have a really good knack at that, right? You bring a lot of that into, I mean, a lot of times we call it merchandise, right? But you don't see a lot of artists get involved with that end of it. Um,
Because it's a big work. Like is
it is a lot of work.
you have to be creating the art, but also going to the I don't know like the fabric place where they're gonna send you the test. It's a lot of work. Like you have like a full work here. You have to create the content, so you have to record everything. Then you have to edit. You have to put music. You have to use it like trending music so it doesn't get lost in the algorithm. Then you have to call people to get into exhibitions, get into open calls. You have to be also your own manager. Right now, you have to do everything by yourself, and also the the merchandising is kind of a really difficult part because you want your merchandising to be really good. You want this level of quality. You don't want it to be like trashy merchandising because that will speak bad about you. And I think that's kind of I found a really good partner in the Hug. The Hug right now they have a really great program of merchandising yourself. Like you can put digital pieces there, you can put prints, you can put maybe coasters is a good idea. I'm gonna suggest it for them. They have phone cases. They also have things that you deliver yourself. So I have Palometa hats, I have Palometa hoodies, I have Palometa t-shirts. Uh, I haven't thought of anything else because it will be like adding me another line of work that is
Another
going to be
responsibility, yeah.
another responsibility. I'm looking forward to make sculptures, but some people from Colombia they are called toykers. They have like this basic astronaut sculpture that they collaborate with artists, and the artist customize the astronaut and they make every all the production. So I have seen their work. I have seen they have been collaborating with artists that I admire a lot here in Colombia and out of Colombia too. So they approached me and they were like, "Hey, do you want to make a collaboration? Since you did a Palometa astronaut, we have the astronaut. We can make a really good match here." And I'm like, "Man, thank God," because I was like blowing my brains, trying to see and to find the time to start making my own sculpture. That is gonna happen, but at the moment, if I can have a collaboration where you're gonna make all the production, it's gonna be a really good production, and I can put my art on it. Let's go for that.
We've just started entering the Palometa phase. The sneakers, awesome, right? I wanted to show, yeah, I wanted to show those. Yeah, and now you're starting to see the Adidas piece, another great piece.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, one piece after another, right? And I love the way that how you this is a lot of, I got to set up a camera. I got to speed it up. Then I got to take it. Then I got to edit it. Then I got to put it up, right? I got to, then what, I get 2 likes on it. It could get very, but no, right? Like you have I always hit up artists when I'm looking at their profiles, and I'm big on whips. I think whips are the most important thing. The whip stuff, is that just something you picked up from everybody, or is that like a marketing thing that like where did you say to yourself, I got to start doing this from the very, very beginning? You normally, people pick this up later, right? I just, so your style and everything that you're creating lends to content creation. Content creation is one of the most important things for an artist, because if an artist takes a whole month to work on a piece or a whole week to work on a piece, how much can you possibly upload from that piece? Unless you're sitting there with your camera recording each creation, each section, doing small uploads. So when you have I said I have to get back into my airbrushing. I haven't airbrushed in a while. Reason why that thought came into my mind, right, was because I thought to myself, what can I do each day where I could just set a camera up and I can create not only art, but I could create content that allows me to expand my brand. Post something as well as I do. You might not have something to post every day, but you have to find that thing,
I try.
right. You have to find that thing to post every day, because you have to. The thing about the internet, the thing about being your own marketing, your own guy, if you don't stay in the visual, if you don't stay in their eyes, they will find the next thing that they become attracted to, right?
No, and the process is a really good story to tell. It's not just that I like to paint pigeons, to paint spray paint, but I can tell the story and how I painted. It's really
That's
cool to
right.
see that becomes part of the story, not just the finished piece. So it's kind of a way to tell my story. I find it funny when I put bloopers into the videos. Like, as you can see, not all videos are kind of well made, like perfectly with a good camera and stuff. They're made with a cell phone, and sometimes I don't know, maybe the canvas fall down. I look at the camera and like fuck. But when I put that part, it's kind of making it a little bit more human. Like I have a lot of mistakes. I have a lot of things that happen in the moment where I am painting. So it's not easy, first of all. It takes time. It takes a lot of materials, and also I can make mistakes, and those mistakes can be like fixed through the same art. So it's really cool. That I find that has been a little bit therapeutic for me, because in graphic design you have the Control C, and you can like erase and go back from any mistake you make. But in real life, you have to put something on top. Like in the canvas, when I am applying some spray and the spray doesn't drip the way I want it to drip, I have to put another color. Like you have to work like layer over layer of that, and I found that has helped me to see things a little bit different, like problems in my work or in life. Like everything has a solution that is gonna look better than the original, and the story behind that solution is gonna be a really cool story to tell.
So a lot of times when I sit down and we do these conversations, right? A lot of times people will talk about their past and they'll describe their story. We just got through I just showed them the popsicle stick from your story earlier, right? And so it's nice to see pieces of your story popping up as I'm flicking through all your art as you're talking. I'm at the spray paint cans now. I think the one in your
Yeah,
hand is that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
that gives me a little nostalgia, like to see the first pieces and stuff. But I see like this is really cool because you can see the evolution of Palometa. Palometa has been changing a lot and has been having more expression, has more things to say, um, and it has this kind of expressions have helped me evolve into my artwork, like to bring things from um, traditional art like the gold leaf, like oil painting, like those things like mixed with the street art look really amazing.
Um, oh man, we are cooking on time, and there's just so much awesome art to. I can't get it out. I can't get it all out here. Okay, let's. Do I want to keep going here on the IG because I know there's a lot here. Um, I have the sculpture up. The painted palometa. Wow, it looks like the Twitter bird.
Yeah, that was my sister went to a plant store, something like that, and they have
Okay.
this ceramic dove. She brought it to me. I'm like, hey, this will look really cool as a palometa style. So I already painted that one, and I really looking forward to make my own palometa. I want to make I don't want to pigeon palometa, the one that is sitting. You will find it uh, higher in the Instagram. And
Yeah,
yeah, they have those
I
have
thought I
been.
saw that. I thought I saw something coming to life with a big palometa. I didn't want to jump around. Oh man, there's just so much great art on here. Um, Hang on, I'm trying to find that real quick. I saw that guy. Where was that guy? Where was that one?
No, that one is really like one of the last pieces that I have posted there.
So oh, where do I want to go with this? There's so much to talk about, and we have so little time. Let me ask you a question. You're gonna come back on the show down the road? Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, anytime will be a pleasure to keep telling my story. Like our conversation yesterday lasted like 1 hour too, and we are reaching the 2 hour limit here, and we have been having a really good time. I feel like uh, talking about my story, and like I told you before, like it makes you realize all the things that you have been doing. Like you don't see that much history in 4 years. You know.
Yeah, it's when someone is a and when you see someone creating their brand and it becoming established and they feel in tune with it, you could just tell when they take off because it's the only thing they focus on. The social media takes over, and you see the focus of the social media. The painting takes over. That there's no more distractions. What's important to you takes priority. Your style starts to develop. You start to play with the style. Then you start to expand and create more and more and more. And then you do tricks. Now you're looking around and you're seeing what everybody else is doing. Oh, it would look good there. Oh, maybe I could get it on a wall. Oh, you know what? I'd love to do a collect. And then you start to see the true expansion. Now we're getting to the point where you're starting to mess around with the foil, the what do they call it? The 24 karat, the gold, um, right?
The
And
gold leaf.
the gold.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was getting away from me. So now you're experimenting with the gold leaf, which means you got to a point where you're confident. I got my style down. Now I'm going to start introducing different textures. Now, Palometa is showing up on walls, and your spray paint on different areas is starting to. So you're seeing your art, and so you just know when somebody's. I like to call it the zone. Right, you're in the zone. Like there's just one idea after another idea, and then especially with the gift of the internet, and then Instagram, and then all the artists on IG, and just all the then I think that's like the super juice to when it comes to like expanding your art and the creativity, and you see something else someone else does, and oh man, maybe I'll do one on glass. Maybe I'll do one. Let me try introducing tape, and I'm gonna mask stuff. I'm like, because you're starting to see other artists, and now you're implementing their techniques into your art, and now your art's starting to evolve. I did the piece with the plexi, right? So you're starting to see yourself create all these physical pieces with all these different styles. It's just not canvas, it's not paper, it's not marker anymore. There's a whole lot going on where you're becoming super creative, and just not with the canvas. The canvases are becoming skewed, which means your imagination is now out of the box. Is that the right way of saying it, right? You're pushing your imagination out of the box. I'm going to go ahead and say
Yeah,
that,
totally.
right?
Totally, yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say that anybody who probably hired you, I have a small folder that I save a lot of really creative graphic design cards. Really interesting stuff, right? Like real creative stuff, not your order. Like, let's say the popsicle stick wouldn't be a popsicle. It wouldn't be a card. It would be a popsicle card that was cut out like a popsicle with a stick that writes really creative stuff. And so you have that. I could only say that probably your clients that have hired you through your company surely get the same creativity that your art is seeing now, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like things, you have to think different to to experiment with small companies is really good because you don't have that much budget, so you have to make something really creative to stand out. So last year we worked with a, a brand of paper. They were like they had this rival here in Colombia who is a bigger brand. It's an international brand, and yeah, it was challenging, but we made it through the sustainability. I feel like this is a really good way where when you are helping people and you're helping the planet, you are making things different. And the worst case scenario here is that the bigger company want to copy your strategy and end up helping more people or helping the planet. This is a kind of the way we are trying to work in my company. So you have to be really creative and stand out for something in a different way so people can connect with that, and you can stand like have your own spotlight in a moment. Like when you were talking about the confidence you get when you get in your style, I feel that confidence has been something I have been working here in Web3, like talking in English that is not my native language, meeting new people, collaborating with people, going to events where I'm gonna meet a lot of people that I have been talking through X like for years, and then you meet them in person and find out they are really cool over there too. Get new friends, get new opportunities, and also that brings the confidence in you. Like 1 year ago, I wouldn't dream of applying as an artist of the year for the Hug. This year, I was like, hey, I have a chance. Let's go. Let's do this. Or last year, I didn't was so confident to comment on somebody, like just congratulating him for being on the Taipei Lumi 3, and right now I am showcasing the Taipei Lumi 3. So all this is part of a path that you have to walk and you have to live to evolve as an artist and as a person.
I'm glad that we hooked up now, right? Because I feel like you're at mission control and mission control is like 10, 9, 8, 7, right? And I feel like I'm right. I feel like I'm right before the liftoff, and so it's exciting when you see artists grow and their style grow and things grow. And there's just so much, which is why you will definitely be coming back, and we will be exploring your future growth. And then, of course, we have the art cartel, and we got to dive into that. There's a lot more to talk about. Okay. I finally made it to the Palometa NFT collection, the drop 1 and the drop 2. Did you send me a link to the OpenSea?
Yeah,
You
I
did,
sent it
right?
in the
Is it
in the
D?
Teams and the Meet chat.
Oh, wait, where? Wait, oh, in the X chat?
No, the Google Meet chat, but I
Oh,
can
the
send it
Google
on
Meet
the.
chat. Okay, hang on, hang on. No, I was looking. I thought it was on my X. Hang on, let me pull that up. The Google Meet. Okay. All right, let me bring this next to you. Um, okay. I'm gonna. We got a little battery failure, which is no big deal. But let me bring this. Let me close this so you come back to me. There we go. Okay. So what I have here next to you is the OpenSea Palometa collection. Now this is the very first collection, correct?
That was like as a collection. Yeah, the first two pieces were from my art, like this that one is called YuZapata pigeons, but they are pieces inspired in physical paintings that I did. This was conceived as a full NFT collection, the Palometa collection, the legendary Palometa collection.
Do you hang on, I'm switching batteries. I've got a little thing. Give me 1 second, you. Lives, you never know what's gonna go wrong. So, but you always got to be on top of the batteries. Mics can go out, cameras can go out. I have so I have the OpenSea Palometas up. Um, Now, did you create every single one of these
Yeah,
physically?
they have. Yeah, no, those are not physically. They
Well,
are.
I mean,
They
I
call.
mean, yeah,
Oh, digitally.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
I
physically,
mean, they
it's
have
not
the
a
animations
what is it?
one by
Generative?
one.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, it's not
It's
generative.
not generative, right? This is
It's one by one. Yeah. So as you can see, like the ones from the Lord of the Rings, they have different animations. Like Legolas is shooting arrows. Uh, Frodo takes out his sword, and the sword glows blue because there are orcs nearby. Gandalf has the staff, and he shouts, "You shall not pass." There are samurais. There's a Statue of Liberty. There's Batman, of course.
let me ask you a question. How long does each one? I mean, this is not like so. Sometimes you come across collections like these, and so I gotta be honest with you. You're inspiration for me right now because I had this idea to do these question marks, but I wanted to do them all one-on-ones. And then I was saying to myself, this is going to take a lot of time to create these. And now I'm looking at your collection and I'm like, what am I bitching about? Like, let's get going, right? Because did you animate all of these yourself as well?
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
yeah.
no.
I make
Go
I
ahead, go
make
ahead.
square by square animation. So if I don't know if Batman is gonna be like there's lighting behind it, I have to make one without the lighting, one with a little bit of light, one with like all like frame by frame. So normally they have 30 something frames, but they are loop. So I have to make a basic animation of around 10 or 6 7 frames, and then I make the loop. But the loop I can see the timing, like maybe if she's gonna blink, I can make only one eye open, then one close. Like you kind of find a way to make it easier.
I have the Star Wars ones up that you were speaking about earlier as well. Uh, Did you now question when you uploaded these guys? Did you upload them one by one as you did them? Did you upload as sets? Did you like?
I made sets, like I made sets of 9,
Right,
10.
right, right, right.
But when I made the first set of the Star Wars, like I told you, I had to keep making more because people were asking, like, "Hey, no, but I saw maybe the Yoda just sold." but I can make the baby Yoda. At that moment wasn't called Grogu. I had a friend who asked for the Boba Fett, and I told him like, man, Boba Fett just told it last night. I can make you maybe not Boba, but the Jango Fett. So I did Jango Fett, like different variations, but but it has to be a different character. Just now that I recall, I just failed to make the Chewbacca. Chewbacca was it's still really challenging. I don't see a Palometa Chewbacca in my mind. It will look like a porg.
It looked like a very hairy bird.
Yeah, the porgs, from the Force Awakens, they are kind of little birds with hair, something like that.
Um, Man, I we could easily go another hour here, but I so you know the reason why I cap these things at 2 hours, you, because I don't want I could easily sit here and do a 4 or 5 hour show with every artist, right? I could spill all the beans, and I don't like doing that. I like people coming back, seeing like maybe part two. It's about like, all right, this is where we left off. Great, we have a chance to
Yeah, and
okay,
to invite people to see the first part too. Like,
yeah,
okay, check out the first part. This is kind of the origin story, and this is
that's
the
right.
present,
Yeah,
something like that.
you get it, bro. That's how I build these shows. I want like the perfect, or I should say, I want like the ultimate. Well, like Star Wars and Empires and Jedi. What do they call it? They call it the.
The saga,
Yeah, it's the perfect. What do they call three movies like Godfather 1, 2, and 3?
trilogy,
Thank you.
trilogy.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. You're filling in a lot of blanks for me today, you. It's I want the perfect trilogy for each artist, right? I want the origin story, and then I want the present, and then I want, let's catch up and see what they're doing down the road. Okay. So I have the Open Sea collection up. You know what I want you to send me the link to real quick? Do you have the exchange? What is it? Exchange art? Did you? No, you said it was on Solana.
The exchange is the popsicles. Yeah.
That's yeah. Can you send me the link to that real quick? I don't think the that's on your link tree. Okay, hang on, I got
No, the
this.
things that I did, I had a like a mentoring session with someone who is really wise here on Web3. That is Sweet Baby Jibus, and we kind of talk about where I want to go with my art. And I had like in my link tree one link for each one of my NFT collections, and at the bottom I had my physical art. And he told me like, okay, so what are you talking about here? You want to be a digital artist, or maybe you want to be more of a physical artist? So I told him like I want to be like kind of have a balance. That's why I reorganized my link tree according to what we talked there, and I have all my NFT collections now. They are posted on my One Hub by NFT NYC, and I have them on my Hub.
Okay, so I don't know what's going on with exchange art. Seems to be a little. I don't know if it's me. I don't think it's me because that would mean everything over here would be stalling. I don't know if we're having some issues downloading the. Oh wait, here they are. Oh, I didn't know they were 3D. Oh, look at this. Look at these guys. Ah. Yeah. You definitely have your shit together, you.
There
Okay.
you go. There are the popsicles.
I'm showing off the popsicles now. I didn't know they were 3D, but these are fucking cool too. Yeah, you did a really good job about you are above and beyond with the branding. You're like in the zone right now. So this is like the sweet spot when I say the artist is in the zone and they are on their way, right? Like just looking at this complete collection. Okay, so we didn't even get to some of the NFT stuff, right? I feel like I'm lagging way behind, but we could probably pick up the NFT and the NFT conversation in part two. I feel like that's a really good place to pick up the NFT and then show them everything that you've been got going on in the NFT world. Um,
The
and then,
ordinals.
yeah, right. I know you got some new stuff pop, and maybe you want to talk briefly about what people can look forward to.
Well, right now I am like gearing up for my first set of sculptures. This is the collaboration with the Toykers brand. It's gonna be an astronaut palometa in a like a art toy. I have coming like today. I am making my second drop on Remix. The you can see a unique palometa related to my hometown too. It's a palenquera. They are kind of the women who sell the fruits in the street of Cartagena. They are from a town nearby called San Basilio de Palenque. They are really resilient women, and I wanted to make a homage to this character. And it's gonna be dropping on Remix today. And right now, I am exhibiting all this month and the next month for on the Taipei Lumitri. That's kind of a super huge deal for me because the exhibition is amazing. There are some gigantic screens. I did uh, three pieces for that, three animated pieces that they complement each other, like in a big party that never stops. That's why it's called Palometas Online 24/7. And I am working on my collection of ordinals. These ordinals are in a different style. I try like a minimalistic style, minimalistic street art style. It's made with like plain colors. Like I try to simulate a little bit of the drips of the spray, and I brought different birds portrayed as my palometa. So the first one was a bird that is called the orange fruit dove. That one sold out already, and for this collection, I raffled the physical piece of the ordinal. So it's a really good way to get a physical art piece from me. They are limited edition of 10, the first one. This one is limited edition of 9. The second one is the lilac breasted roller. Oh, I have it here. Let me show it to you.
Is there anywhere that is there a link that we can bring these up? Are they on the grant? Oh, there we go.
Check it
Oh,
out.
there we go. Okay. I see how your signature came to as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting listening to you and ask all those questions and then seeing it all in reality. It's sometimes it's just a conversation, and then from that conversation, it translates into uh, going through someone's social media and then seeing everything that they speak about, and then seeing that come true. Hang on, let's bring up. Okay.
I just shared the Ordinals collection, and
Okay.
it's really cool. Like Ordinal has been like my newest step. Like it take three new steps here. One is Drip House. I am kind of telling my story of every street art piece that is related to digitals through the Drip House. I am telling more stories on Remix 2 that they are more related into physical pieces. And on Ordinals, this is a really good place to be right now because I feel the thing they are doing with the inscriptions on the blockchain is something new in the space, and it's something that is gonna last longer, or I don't know, like it feels like it's gonna be way more solid. And yeah, I this collection I just want to make 10 ordinals from this collection on this style. Every new piece is gonna have less supply. The first one was 10. This one is gonna have 9. The next one is gonna have 8, and that way I'm gonna be like making it more more creating a little bit of scarcity for the pieces. I don't know. That's the word. Yes, yes.
I the one thing I didn't show them you was remix. I don't know if you want to get me that link just so we have it up on
Yeah.
screen. I have.
Yeah, I have like all my links here open. I
Okay,
never
perfect.
close them.
I showed the gamma, right, which is the ordinals. I'm showing drip now. Uh, do you know I had my drip orientation last Friday, and I still haven't been able to fill out the form. That's how busy I've been. Uh,
Whoa.
it's a week later, and I still haven't filled out the form to ignite my page, I guess. Um, let's bring up your. So this is your drip.
There's the remix.
Okay, hang on. We're flicking through your drip right now. Um, just showing
Yeah,
every.
I think drip is really cool way to not to see it as a marketplace, but to see it as a social network almost. Like you can like I am here uploading the wall that I painted here in Bogota or maybe in somewhere in the world, in Mexico too. I can upload the physical piece, the video behind the scenes, also like like telling the whole story behind one wall and one digital piece. It's a really cool way to talk here in Madrid. So I really encourage you to do that form and stuff because it's really taking really big steps into supporting artists and helping you tell your story.
Not to mention you, but you've also found a little unique way to use drip in your own way. Most people are uploading 4 pieces of art, and you're kind of like uploading a story, you know.
Yeah.
And is there a physical? There's a. I think you mentioned. Is there a physical involved in this? The drip or no?
On Drip, yeah, I'm gonna make the ultimate piece. It's gonna be one of the small paintings that I do as studio pieces. I'm gonna put it on my first raffle. Let's see how that goes, because it's gonna be like a full circle there. You have the wall, you have the stickers, you have the behind the scenes for the wall, you have the behind the scenes for the digital, you have the behind the scenes for the painting, and at the end you will get to the one of the paintings. So this is my ongoing series. The I don't want to pigeon to the Palometa.
Yeah, that's a really smart way of doing it. I'm gonna open up. I have Remix now. I have your. Let's see. I have your Remix link, and let's see. Okay, oh, maybe I went too far. I am not familiar with Remix. This is the first time I'm actually seeing this. Um, collected moments drops. Okay. Collected. Is there something specific that I should show them? You?
Right now, those are the moments. Those are kind of imagine like an Instagram story, but you can collect it. They are only for 24 hours. And in the main page of Remix, you will find the drop. The drop is gonna be live at 11. So I don't know if it's live now in the main page. You can go to the logo, to the Remix logo in the top left,
Okay.
click it there, and go a little
Oh
bit
yeah, is
below
this it right here? Palometa
Palenquera. That's a really difficult,
Palenquera.
yeah, a really difficult word, but it means that she's from Palenque. Palenque is kind of a part of Cartagena, something that has a relationship with the slaves and all that time from the conquest. I don't know how to say it.
I see Mayu. She complimented Mayu drops. She commented on the piece. And Mayu and Yusuf. Oh, wow, crazy. I think you guys both have her husband's name, I believe, is Yusuf. And then you. Wow, crazy.
Oh,
Wow, there's a sign right there, man. That I was just gonna say they have excellent branding as well. I'm not sure if you ever came across Mayu, her husband, their photography, the collection
yeah,
of what, yeah, awesome branding. They do a great job with that as well. Um,
yeah. I exhibited her work here in Colombia. We did an open call for the One Love community,
Right.
and we did an exhibition here, and she was part of the exhibition. The photography is amazing.
So we're gonna start wrapping this up. We're 10 minutes over, but that's all right. I don't want to give them to. I want them to come back to the
Mhm.
NFT. Yeah, I want to do that. I want to do all that on a different show, right? Let's get the art
Sure.
cartel. Yeah, let's get the art cartel introduced and next, and then let's come back and we'll do update shows, especially because I don't see you going anywhere. Um, okay, while I have you and the screens up, why don't you just tell everybody a good way to reach you? What's the best sites to find you if anybody wants to contact you? I have your X and IG and Hug Up, but you give it to them, and I'll bring it up as you say it.
Yeah, well, you can see uh, I am kind of trying to bring everything into one same roof. So you can enter my One Hub profile. You can find me on Hug. You can find me on X, and you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. Always look for the at YuZapata 3SC. The 3SC story is for the second for
You
the
knew
for
that
the
question.
sequel.
You know that question's been sitting in me for a while, and I didn't think to pull it out yet. And I
No,
was
it's really simple. Like when I started making digital illustrations, I did a brand called Three Stripes Comics. So that was before YuZapata. So when I created the YuZapata Instagram, I had to like link it to the Three Stripes Comics website. Website, no, the page. So I put the 3SC, but also because the YuZapata is taken on Instagram. So yeah, I was like, okay, let's do it with the 3SC. No, I don't want to put anything else. And yeah, now I have like any, I don't have any relationship any. Well, like it's kind of the backstory, the Three Stripes comics, but now it remains on my handle forever.
I man, it's just such a good story. All right, we gotta save some for the for the for future shows. Otherwise, I'll go through everything. Hang on, you. I'm bringing you. I'm coming back to. I'm bringing this back to double screen, and all right, good. There we are. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, we told them where to reach you. We did a brief introduction and we went over everything, which I thought was great. An introduction to who you are, your past, your background. That's everything that I did want to touch on. I wanted to get through more art, but there's a lot to you, and this is a very, your career, your art journey and your career is obviously supercharged at the moment and very on point. And you've done a great job with branding. And I think I've touched on a lot of this. How do I want to close this up? Okay. There's a lot of artists out there, that are just starting to maybe find their way into the NFT scene. Maybe they share the same. Or you know what? How about let's talk to some of the traditional people out there who are just like you, who might hear about the NFT scene and say to themselves, I'm not dealing with that, or that's not interesting enough. And maybe they're not seeing it the same way you've seen it now, also being heavy traditional. And then, of course, there's lots of artists out there that are probably wandering around in the art world, not really knowing where to start. Maybe then there's artists that are being discouraged with the bear market at the minimum. So I guess in a way, maybe you could leave us off with maybe some nice words for all of these struggling artists out there, maybe trying to find their way, or look for maybe try to find their branding or their calling card, their palo meta, right? I think every artist is looking for a palo meta. And yeah, maybe you could give them some words of inspiration or advice or just anything. Maybe you could close us out with some thoughts, right? Because your journey is, I'm sure your journey wasn't always easy, but yet you found your way, and you're in the zone. So maybe you could share with us some words of inspiration.
Yeah, of course. I feel like the best advice I can give for people who are looking from far to the NFT space and the Web3 space is to jump in and dedicate. Like, if you come here, you are bringing something to the conversation. You can bring your collectors, you can bring your style, you can bring yourself as a person. So think of this as a school where you're bringing here your expertise to become part of a community, not just to extract things. And that way you will feel like you are working on something. You are working on something bigger. Here we are working into creating the new story of art. I feel this has been my speech to everyone. Like, we are creating the new story of art here, and you have the opportunity to write it. So it's a once in a lifetime experience. And yeah, I can, like, you can see the goals you that I have accomplished here in the Web3 space can't be accomplished in the physical world. So that's kind of an encouragement. But at the same time, think of connecting to a global community and connecting with love, connecting with empathy, and yeah, bringing something to the table.
You've also found the perfect blend of traditional and digital and NFT, and you found a way to make it work perfectly for you. For all those NFT artists that might be struggling, any thoughts on should they maybe push into the physical world? Should they maybe push like what would you? Because for me, it seems like every time you might get stuck, you come up with something even more creative to stretch, right? Okay, I've done the canvas. Let's add gold leaf. Let's bring out a curved, let's bring out an offset canvas, and let's add a piece of plexi to it with or glass, right? So you have always seemed to kind of find a way. It seems like to me when you get stuck as an artist, you find a way to push through and even expand more. Where I think a lot of people just either maybe plateau or get stuck. Maybe some words about that before we say goodbye, right? Like, how do you push yourself past being stuck?
Yeah, all those struggles bring opportunities. Every struggle brings opportunity. You have to, as I said before, you have to stop, see what you have accomplished, what you have right now in your hands, and how are you gonna work with that. See, if you see the NFT space is right now in a bear market, well, start moving merchandising. I have
Right.
like
Good.
my hoodies. I have something that can be accessible, not so expensive, but you can have some part of Palometa, some part of my art, making small prints, making different. You have it. You have the art. Like, you have the possibilities to create something new that doesn't have to be linked to the market. So yeah, that's kind of the advice there. Every struggles brings opportunity. You have to see those opportunities and keep moving, keep creating. If you stop creating because there's no money, you are not creating for the right reasons. If you stop uh, painting because nobody's buying your paintings at the moment, you are painting for the wrong reasons. You don't paint for the money. The money comes by itself.
Okay. You. Excellent. I guess you only have one last question with me, you, which is I need a closing song.
I was looking for this moment. I was gonna write it to you, but I'm gonna write it here in the in the chat.
Okay. All right. So we just need your closing song to close out with. But yeah, I'm gonna do the I'm gonna run out the outro now, and then I'm gonna hit your song, and I'll probably
Yeah.
end up playing some of your art through the outro. But I do want to say, you have an extensive art collection from digital to traditional, and it's growing and growing each day. And so, I want to compliment that because what you're putting together, I feel like, is every artist's dream. To have and this is just for me. I feel like this is just the beginning of you. And when I look at everything that you're doing, I feel that you're a great example for every artist who's not only traditional but digital. And to see all of these different opportunities that you have taken advantage of, the physicals, the bear market's slow. Let me take a look at creating sculptures now. Let me bounce from the bear market into the real world. Let me see what I can make happen at galleries, because now I got a little bit of juice from me from my success in the NFT world. And then so forth and so on. And hey, if the galleries and the real world is slow, let me bounce over here to the digital world and let me create the art cartel and let me find another way to take advantage of the technology. Let me make some TikToks if things aren't selling. Let me dip into that little community over there and get their attention. So you're a great example of taking advantage of all of the opportunities out there. And I want to thank you very much for taking your time out of your busy schedule, because all of the stuff that you're not doing, that, all of these hats that you're wearing take a lot of time. So for you to jump on here and give me 2 hours, 2.5 hours of your time, especially to teach everyone and share your knowledge, right? Because the knowledge is, in my opinion, the knowledge is what's gold. That's your knowledge of sharing your journey. That's what's gold to me. That's what is really important. That's what will really help all these other artists, because they see. A lot of times artists will say, I don't think that's something, you said it even earlier in the show, when it came to applying the hug, and I don't, at that point in time, I didn't think I had what I needed to offer. But then as my confidence grew and I saw everyone doing everything, and then I saw them doing it, that made me say, why can't I do it? And now look at me. I feel like, yeah, I am ready. I am prepared. I am here, right? And so it's the magic of seeing everyone doing it, listening to their stories. So for me, for you to come on the show and spend 2.5 hours and dump all this gold and say, I wasn't always an artist. I did this, I did that. Now people see the success and they only see the success. They never hear the story behind it. They never hear the struggle. They never hear me searching, right? And they only see, oh, that guy's succeeding because he found, but they didn't see the work before the niche. They don't know how the Palometa became to be, right? And so for you to share that story to me, especially to me, I don't even care who's listening to me, that's gold. For me, it's gold because it inspires me. So I know it inspires me and inspires everyone. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to, exploring more about your journey and having more conversations and checking out we didn't even talk about the art cartel. So there's a lot here.
No, we will have a show for the Arcatel.
Yeah,
But
we're
first of
going to
all,
work on that.
thank you very much. This has been an amazing conversation. Doesn't feel like an interview. Feels like a conversation with a longtime friend that I haven't seen in 5 years. So I'm telling you my art story, and yeah, this work you're making here, and you're doing it really good because this is a high quality space for me. Is really important because people need to see the story behind the artist, but they have to see it really natural, like the way you handle the stage, the way you host is amazing. So I told you yesterday and I told you today, congratulations on that. And this is a key part of the Web3 movement and the Web3 global art history we are creating. You are documenting the art history, and that is super important for the people who is living in this moment that want to get inspiration, and the people who is going to see this in the future and see what went on in this crazy moment of life. So thank you very much for this time, for your time, and for this amazing space. And thank you all who are listening or watching or streaming. I don't know at this moment. This show, this is for you, and thank you very much.
All right, you. Um, I appreciate you. I'm gonna click off now. You are free to bounce. I just need that link for the track, and that's gonna obviously be a surprise. But I'm gonna close out the show. I
I send you
appreciate.
the name of the
All right,
song.
hang on. I got it. Let me see.
It's in Spanish, but it's in Cartagena Spanish. That is not the best way to pronounce it. We have a certain accent that speaks and shortens the words. So
Okay,
this
I got you.
means I'm winning in Spanish, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're definitely winning. All of the hard work is paying off and easily visible. For me, right? For me, I don't know for everyone. I know for me, because I'm an artist, I've gone through the same journeys. And so when I look at an artist's journey, I could see the beginning, the middle, the end. I could see it. And so when I look at you and I get to know you, I'm excited because I feel like you're right on the cusp. We're right there. I feel like it's only a matter of time before I see a big Palo Meta sitting around in art. I always call it Art Basel. I always get it wrong, but Basil. I always I feel like I'm gonna see one of these things at the Wynwood. Just gonna walk around and I'm gonna see a big Palometa sitting there, and I'm gonna be like, I know that guy.
For
you
sure it's
know.
gonna happen, man.
So, all right, you. I'm gonna click off now. You are free to drop. I thank you very much for your time. I'm gonna close out the show, play your song, play some of your art, and look forward to the next show. You.
Looking forward for the next show and looking forward for the Art Cartel show. Thank you very much, my friend. Have a great day.
Yeah, man. You too. You keep creating. Okay, guys. So you just got to meet YuZapata. And we did a really extensive deep dive on the beginnings of his art career, who he is, everything that has created him and brought him to this point. I want you guys to remember that a lot of times when I do these shows, I look for energy. I meet a lot of people in spaces. I listen to the way people speak. I see their art, and then for me, it's a decision on who I think is going to bring the best energy to the show. A lot of times, sometimes we see artists that are just starting out and just beginning and starting from a different field. Other times we see artists that are very established. You happens to be one of those artists that has taken every single minute of the last 5 years and then his entire life, and we have seen him creating his art legacy, so to speak, and his brand. And to me, this is a really complete. When I look through artists and I look through their budding careers, and so I look for something that is a really good example. We've had lots of good examples on here. Anna was a great example of someone who's taking advantage of all the different social media platforms and bringing her art in different ways with collabs and things of that nature. I feel that you is someone who is a complete artist that is now taking advantage of all the social media, as well as the physical, as well as the traditional, as well as the digital, including the NFT world, but not depending and relying on it, going different places outside of the box. And so a lot of people see the success, but they don't hear about the story and the struggle beforehand. And that's what I feel is the greatest introduction and inspiration for any artist out there, even for me sitting here and going through each one of our guests' profiles and their art and seeing their story and listening to everything, it makes me want to create, right? And yeah, so on that note, I hope you guys got the same inspiration that I did. Once again, I want to thank you for dropping on and sharing his time and his knowledge. He will return, as well as all of the artists that are growing, and as well as us introducing some new ones. So the show will continue. Monday night. Monday, we have 2 shows. So Monday is the 3rd. Monday from, I think it's 11 to 1. I think it's 11 to 1. It's either 9 to 11, 11 to 1. You guys will see the alert drop, the flyer, the graphical drop. We have Galleria, and we have their community coming on to talk about their art. Another super community collab. Just like we did on Wednesday with Can, we will have Galleria coming on Monday early. And then Monday night, Alana will return. We haven't spoke to Alana in almost 3 or 4 months, and she has some new things to speak about. She also was one of the first persons to come on the show and help the show start on X. So I love to dive back into people's careers. I know she has a sheep and wool, pretty big. I think the wool exhibit is taking place. She's over there doing teaching this weekend. They might actually go up there and say hello to her and stop in and say hi and check out all of the wonderful wool and art that's taking place there. But she'll be on Monday night, and she'll be updating us on everything that's going on and how she's growing. We haven't spoken to her in 3 months. So looking forward to those 2 shows. I think we also have AI with Chaz, One Love Art DAO. He'll be coming on Wednesday. So we have a little bit of a busy week next week when it comes to the shows. On that note, the schedules will be dropping. You'll see the graphics drop. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I appreciate y'all for supporting and being a part of the show and sharing. And it's my pleasure to get these artists out there. On that note, I appreciate everybody who stopped in and said hello. I turned on the show on X a little late, so if I didn't get a chance to say hello or say hi to you guys, that's because I didn't see the comments. So I'm sorry if anybody dropped a comment. I didn't see you guys. But on that note, I want to wish you guys a happy Friday. And after this, don't forget about, let me get back in here in the camera frame. Don't forget about TGIF coming up next at 1 o'clock. It's a space hosted by me, Son, and Alina. So that space will be coming up where we just no shill, just chill. We just get on there and talk about art and the way we speak about a little bit about everything. What exchanges we like, what is going on, what I'm going to be grilled, why I haven't applied to. They're going to ask me when my drip. Is when my Drip release date is, and believe it or not, a big shout out to Drip for a great orientation last week, and I haven't even been had a chance to apply the Drip. That's how my schedule has been this week. We're taking over these super community shows, and so that is we're introducing a new show with a lot of new artists. And that is obviously taking some time. So I'm about to bring up Yu's track. 5 minutes. Good. Gives me some time to show his art. So on that note, y'all have a very good weekend. Stay up. Stay positive. It's Friday. And it's me. Friday is always a great time to create art. It's the start of the weekend. And we're going to play and show a decent amount. Let's see how far we can get, but let's get some of his art out here and show this while we end the show. All right, y'all. We're gonna leave on his track right now. Systemina Solar. Let's go.
hacemos remix, que se acabe la crisis, papi, baby, la tierra es VIP, vaya, los sistemas gozando la playa.
Frita camarón, chibi chibi, mi caldero de arroz, yo voy a ganar. Uy, mojarra, frita camarón, chibi chibi, mi caldero de arroz, yo voy a ganar. Yo voy a ganar. Rico de viejo, pollo y avena. Yo voy a ganar. Y los chinchorreros de esta ganga. Yo voy a ganar.
Esto se prendió con el flow Vinova. No tiene frontera, barre como escoba. Nadando en la brisa como cojinoa. Electrican, el sistema y la zona.
Frita camarón, chibi chibi, mi caldero de arroz, yo voy a ganar. Uy, mojarra, frita camarón, chibi chibi, mi caldero de arroz, yo voy a ganar. En el mar, la vida es más sabrosa. Salgo en mi canoa, bordeando la curva.
Eso va, voy para allá a pescar, con mi canoa por toda la costa.
Mi mojarra, frita camarón, chibi chibi, mi caldero de arroz, yo voy a ganar. Uy, mojarra, frita camarón, chibi chibi, mi caldero de arroz, yo voy a ganar.
No quiere pararle bolas, extraño. Pararle bola que se acabe el año. Limpio y bola fin de año. El trabajo me ensaño, pero animo Roma pa' borrar los engaños. Y un rayo con fallo me hallo. Yo, solo la playa te trae tu side by side.
Sabor y hueva.
Ahí está, compadre, te trae tu side playa y te trae.
Sabor y hueva.
Pero ahí está, compadre, te trae tu side playa y te trae.
Sabor y hueva. Sabor y hueva.
Damn good show. I'll see you guys next show. All right, guys. Have a good Friday. See you on TGIF. Thank you, you. Thank you, guys. Everybody stay up this weekend and create art. It's a good weekend for creating art. Find your palomero. Till next week. Everybody have a great weekend. Peace.